Hey guys, and welcome to Road to Forex, where we discuss everything in relation to the foreign exchange. Of course, I am your host Alex, so without further ado, let's get stuck into today's episode. Now, I have a very special one for you today. It is with a recently funded mentoree by the name of Lancelot. Now, he is dropping some serious golden nuggets in this episode, so you will want to stick around. To give you a bit of detail, Lancelot is actually a business owner and basically trading full time. So for those of you that are really busy, this one might be packed with quite a lot of good stuff that you will want to listen to. He also made 20% in 1 week to show you that he's not only, succeeding at just being a funded trader, but also excelling and thriving. So let's get into this, and I'll see you on the other side of this episode. All right, today we have joining with us Lancelot, who is one of my own mentorees. Thank you for joining us today, Lancelot. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. Absolutely love having you here as always. So we might as well get stuck into the first question straight away, which is how long have you been trading for?
I've probably been trading about 3 years, going on 3 years or so, I would say.
Okay, yeah, nice. And did you start off in the world of Forex initially, or was it stocks or crypto or something like that?
So initially, it was stocks are kind of what drew me into the trading game, I would
Hmm.
say. Um, Especially, um, I think a big part of it was the run up of AMC and
Oh,
GameStop.
yeah.
I was pretty heavily invested into those, and so that happened about 3 years ago, I think, right now.
Yeah, I remember that.
Um, but I took a $10,000 investment and it wrote it up to $80,000 within a couple months, and that was just the most amazing feeling. And ever since then, I've just been chasing that
Yeah.
that feeling, and I wasn't doing so hot, so that's how we met and
Yeah.
started the
Yeah,
journey. Yeah,
cool. So yeah, you did absolutely amazing on that. I mean, it's incredible for you to take that investment and make it to what it is, and then you probably chose one of the hardest professions to come into straight after that. So yeah, it must have been a little bit jarring then. So I guess
absolutely.
was it that initial attraction of, oh hey, this is like an amazing opportunity for me that swapped you over to Forex? Was it that high that you were just talking about, or what was it that specifically made you jump from stocks over to the Forex world?
Yeah, so that's a good question because when I was trading the stocks and I wrote it all the way up. And because I had really no experience trading, I also wrote it all the way
Ah.
down and took that $80,000 that I could have pulled out with as like a smart investment play, like trading strategy play.
Hmm.
Uh, I just watched it come back down to nothing. So being invested in that world and the business and the psychology there, I just found that the players were just manipulating everything.
Hmm.
Like I didn't trust the game that I was playing
Hmm.
because you like I'm a gamer, so like there's got to be a fair game to play.
Yeah.
It's if the computer's cheating, then it's not fair, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest reason I jumped over to Forex was because I found that the charts were actually much more um, just like
Mm.
readable, like they would follow the rules more, and because it's a much bigger market, um, it's a bit more predictable in certain
Mm.
ways, and you can trust the moves more, and it's just more honest, And I found that thinking of the countries and as a whole, and not just small businesses operating within many countries, it's very interesting.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, I totally
It's
get that.
very interesting to understand the countries and like their exports and I know that's not much of a specific trading strategy type of information, but it's all part of that picture, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, okay, that definitely makes sense, and I feel that as well from working in a stock brokerage and being around those guys all the time, stockbrokers, and I was more in the sales world, but getting an introduction into that, and being groomed for a position there was so much fundamental news that could just affect any stock, and I think that is one
yeah,
of those things where the game starts to get rigged, where there is so much insider trading going on. And again, I use this for crypto, but if Elon just stands up and just says, hey, we're releasing a new car or whatever it is, boom, stock flies up
yeah,
and you just go, ah, crap. Like one thing can just completely destroy you. Obviously, that can happen with news, but I feel like in stocks, it is more of a rigged game. It's more of who.
it's a smaller
Yeah,
pool, right? The
exactly.
waves get
Yeah,
bigger.
exactly right. And if you're just on the outside there, you're going to get crushed. So I
Yeah,
totally get that.
no,
Easy. So I guess that
absolutely.
brings me on to the next question, which just naturally move on to here. So you're going to the Forex market, you're going, okay, I want to have a go of this. What were the initial things that maybe you didn't struggle with, but you went, oh wow, like this is going to be difficult for me to overcome. This is going to be something that I am going to have to work on when you started trading in the Forex market.
I think the biggest thing for me was the amount of information there is out there,
Mm.
and the amount of people claiming that they'll be able to show you or teach you
Yeah.
things, and they're not being entirely truthful. Like they're doing it for a profit, or it's for like more shady reasons. They're not invested into the people that they're trying to help. So I think the biggest thing for me was just like sifting through that ocean of information and trying to find things that were useful.
Mm.
And then, like when you start to hodgepodge together, like what you think the picture is, if you take two steps back, it's not anything. It's Frankenstein's monster.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um, so that was a big problem for me, and like why I sought guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that can definitely be annoying. It's the same for me. Like I started on baby pips, which I probably said on here before, and doing courses and all that kind of deal is great. But I think, and you might be able to speak on this as well. It's all well and good going, hey, I think I know this, and then coming into the market and then going, why the hell isn't this working? Only to find out that someone else does it completely different. And then you look at it and you go, oh, that's how I'm supposed to use that thing. Have you come across that while you've been trading?
Yeah, there's so many different little things. Like even if you think you know something, and if you're using something else, now all these variables come up, and you have to sift through what's going to work and what's isn't working as well. And um, it's so technically um, it's so technical of a thing to try and learn.
Mm,
If you don't have someone that's sort of showing you what is useful, and in what scenarios that it
mm,
is, you're gonna be lost. You're just gonna be wasting time essentially.
100%.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good that you said that because I think that's one of the things that I noticed when we first started working together is that, well, for you that are listening in, Lancelot's probably got one of the best chart analysis like minds that I've seen in any of my mentorees, and told him that quite a few times. But it was also one of the things that you struggled with initially was that overthinking because what we do when we go through these losses is learn and learn and learn. And as you said here, if there's a huge wealth of information out there, I mean, what stops you from learning all of it? But what also stops you from, or starts you to figure out, hey, this is what's actually good and this is what's actually poor. And to get my point back onto it with that initial struggle on the markets because you had such a good chart analysis. When I taught you the strategy, I remember coming back and we were doing that back testing, and you would be going, "Oh, these are the trades that I've taken," and I was like, "That's fantastic for a chart analysis price action point of view, but that's not." good for this particular strategy that I'm
Just
teaching
like
you. You know, so
yeah, you'd be like, do these 4 steps, and I'd come back and be like, well, I did none of those, and I made this trade. And you'd be like, well, that's great, but don't do that again.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So, in saying that, and I guess it's more of because I think one of the things that you said to me that you struggled with was it's so damn simple, the strategy. And from someone that
Yeah.
has such a good price action, and you could literally say, oh, but Alex, this order block looks like this and it's coming into a balance, it's doing that. How did you reel your mind in and get that discipline and stop that overthinking? What was it that shifted with you so you could overcome it and go, hey, I'm just going to follow these rules?
Hmm. What was the catalyst? I think it was just having, like, might sound sappy, but I think it was just having you there expecting
Mm.
results. I knew that I had to do a specific thing. And the fact that my brain kept telling me to do all these, check the RSI and like, oh, look at this might be like a potential fake out, liquidity
Mm.
grab. Um, I stopped worrying about all of that stuff because it just wasn't part of the
Mm.
strategy. And, having in the beginning when we started our lessons and I was doing the back testing homework and just having to hand that in and knowing that you'd be there just to like judging me, like, how insane I was being, like thinking about 15 million
Yeah.
things. That was definitely, I would say, the biggest change, um, that really started to just make me realize that a strategy is a specific set of rules, and if if a trade does not adhere to these rules, it's just not part of the strategy. You can have, all these other ways you want to trade, different strategies or whatnot, and that's fine. But containing your specific strategy to this specific one, practice this, learn this, um, that was that was a lot for me. That was gold.
Yeah, yeah, cool. So I guess like that's an awesome answer, right? Because it literally, from what we've been talking about, is just like this one solid path of going, oh, hey, there's so much information out there. I can learn all this information, and then you're basically saying, hey, when you brought it down, the actual freedom, the success that you have now got from this, and are continually getting, is that you narrowed it all down, you focused on what actually needed to be done, and then you just went, hey, I'm going to be disciplined. That, and also, as you said, having me in the back of your head going, oh, if you mess up, I'm going to be here, and you're going to have to explain to me
Yeah,
why you did that sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool, awesome. Well, that's really interesting because some people, for them, they have very different catalysts for why it changes, but I love that there. And I guess that moves on to my next question here. Well, do you find that Forex is, in essence, a mental game? Knowing what you've gone through here and what you've done by yourself, and now where you are here, are you looking at it now going, I just need to shift a few things mentally? Or do you think you had your mental game, but it was just that strategy that you actually needed to grab your hands on?
I think it's actually a bit of both, because when you have a strategy, or at least like how I was trading before was just kind of hodgepodge all over the place. I wasn't following specific strategies. I was just kind of seeing what I had seen and just kind of winging it
Mm-hmm.
essentially. But when you have a strategy that you're following and you can do the back testing for it, you start to build up the confidence because you've seen it in action,
Mm-hmm.
and your emotions are kind of taken out of it because you've seen it in action. It's You've done it cold so many times that the heat doesn't really, you don't feel it anymore
Mm.
because it's you've seen it 10,000 times,
Yeah.
right? Um, so while it is a mental game, it's a big mental game, just understanding your emotions and, um, kind of overcoming that and all of the noise surrounding you on what a good strategy is. Uh, when you find a good strategy and you have confidence in it, that takes that mental game out of it, and then you're able to just, you know, take some
Yeah,
profits.
100%, 100%. So I guess in that, then, speaking of that confidence with you, was it that when you were trading by yourself and you were going through there and you're saying that's that hodgepodge, did you ever really have confidence in yourself, or you? No.
No,
Okay. Well, that brings it up. That was a
no,
quick answer.
no. I had no confidence, and that's what makes it difficult to stay in trades when they're moving heavily against you, and that's really what causes your mindset to crumble,
Mm,
um, in good or bad ways, right? Like, a lot of people when they're trading in the beginning, from at least from what I know, they'll do a lot of the same things. Like they'll take their wins
mm-hmm,
small, but their losses they'll let ride until they're like astronomical, and then their account gets cleaned out.
mm-hmm,
Um, and that's trading without a strategy that you trust, and like you're not confident as a trader, and that causes all sorts of problems. So, you know, finding that strategy is and back testing it, which is a really big
mm.
thing. Um, that's perfect. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
100%. Because I think that, like, obviously the listeners can't qualify this or verify this, but to give a bit of a story here, when we did first start backtesting, as I said, Lancelot would bring out, just the craziest trades, just the craziest trades, and I was just like, yeah, that's awesome, but that's not it. And as you went on, you just actually did become more and more confident, because I think one of the things that I said to you and you started saying to me towards the end was, oh, well, you've back tested it enough now and you've proven it to yourself. I mean, are those words very true? Is
Hmm.
that one of the, because I know you've really just skimmed over it here, but was it that back testing where you, like, it's, maybe it didn't just click, but with each back testing session that we did together, you were like, oh yeah, I've done another month, or I've done 2 months or 3 months, and oh yeah, crap, it is profitable if I just follow these things. And that was the confidence that came through.
Oh, it's absolutely that. You just do the back testing, and you're able to see with your own eyes and go through time and see that it
Mm-hmm.
works. And that is what confidence is. Like you don't have to make believe, even though you're, thousands of dollars in the
Mm,
red, and like smile like everything's fine. Like you have that confidence because it's worked before, it's going to work again, it's going to continue to work,
mm,
and that takes out all the stress.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, a hundred.
I've never heard more true words. I'll get those tattooed on my body for you.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I love that. That'd be amazing. You have to send me the photo. You have to send me the photo. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's great. I mean, yeah, it's super interesting because obviously I say on here all the time, people need to back test and, people don't. So it's fantastic to hear you as a trader going through here. So we've talked a bit about what you did before going through to where you are now. Let's talk about where you are actually at this point, because I know you've been doing quite well and we've recently had a catch up session. Um,
Mhm.
Even though you are a trader, and I want to make this very clear to other people because I feel like I'm the only one saying it, is it that you've just become a profitable trader or consistently profitable, whatever, and it's now just easy? Or is it still as hard as it ever was, but you're now more consistent, you're more disciplined?
I would say that's easier. I think a big thing of the big issue for me was it was a mental stress
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like I just didn't know how to solve the problem, and I almost compare it to like a Rubik's cube.
Mm,
Because if you don't know the way to solve a Rubik's cube, there's sets of rules, and if you do a specific pattern, you get a you can put something where you want it to
mm-hmm.
be. So like if you don't know how to solve a Rubik's cube, good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So when you finally get that set of rules and you get the Rubik's cube back in your hand, you're like, oh cool, like I'm just gonna solve
mm.
this. This isn't really something I need to think that hard about. And then people watch you and they're like, oh my god, you're amazing, you're so smart. And it's like I might look smart, but I've just just tried really hard, and I learned, and we had a journey, and it's just who I am
Yeah,
now.
yeah, exactly. And I absolutely love that. It's just like, okay, yeah, well, I've built up all these things along the journey. I've gone from, no confidence to confidence through back testing. I've gone through, knowing so much to still keeping all that information, but wiring it down to what it needs to be. And then also just going, okay, well, I need to keep that all on board, everything that I've done, because if I do turn it off, we can make mistakes. And I obviously want to put that out there for everyone. I still make mistakes. Everyone still makes mistakes. You can't be this perfect trader, but if you've gone through this journey, like Lancelot is saying here, and you've put all these things in place and you've got this confidence, you've always got this, I don't know, this ground zero to go back to. If you if you
Yeah.
don't, you can just fall all the way back through. So what you've realistically done and what we've done together is built like a new floor for you. Like where you
Hmm.
were before is now at the basement. Whereas like you've built all this stuff and you've been consistent and disciplined and all this kind of deal. And then actually sat there and gone, okay, well, if I do make a mistake, like we were talking about the other day, I know I'm not going to make those mistakes again, those decisions, because of X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. We all hop into consolidation every now and
Yeah.
again. Don't stress about it. Just don't do it again, for the love of God.
Yeah, exactly right. I love that. I guess I got another question for you that I've just come off the top of my head as well, because you've obviously got the indicator that I use, and I haven't really touched on this. So from having um I don't know, looking at the charts all the time, what you were saying about previously, to just being able to set an alerts. Have you find that the amount of time spent on the charts, obviously decreasing it, has been a really beneficial thing for you? Because I know some traders find that the longer that they stare at the charts, the more things go wrong. And I was just
Hmm.
wondering what your experience was.
Yeah, I definitely don't look at the charts as much when I'm trading
Mm-hmm.
now because I have that alert. I actually I'm signed into Discord in all of my devices, even my studio. When we're playing music, I hear the alerts jingle off, so I like have to I have to stop working on my client and be like, hold on, I have to do something really important.
Yeah.
And I just go and check to see a trade in consolidation. I'm like, false alarm, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Um, so but then ironically, like I actually enjoy backtesting now
Mm,
because it's not so much of a stressful, like, what the hell am I doing? How do I, like, I'm trying to learn stuff while I'm trying to apply
mm,
it. Now it's much different. It's like I know exactly what I'm doing
mm,
and I'm looking for specific things. It's like it's become extremely
mm.
enjoyable. Like I love backtesting now. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Um, so it's kind of funny because before I hated it
Yeah.
and I loved staring at the screens trying to figure out a good
Mm,
trade. Once I learned everything that you've taught me, it's the exact 100% opposite. I look at the screens less when I
mm.
trade, and then I love backtesting now for hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours. I just did four time frames within like 2 days, a whole year, and it was great. I'll do it again. I don't
I love that. Yes,
care.
yes, yeah. Thank you for doing that. By the way, I appreciate it. That's awesome. I love that as well because I think most people that I mentor usually start off hating back testing, especially when you don't know
Mhm.
what's going on. But like it's and for you coming up to where you are now, because for a bit of background story, Lancelot and I are now going to be going over how to actually outperform the strategy, which is going to be something very hard and difficult, but exciting, especially if you love backtesting, where we're going to try and really be pushing those take profits. And I've mentioned this in a podcast
Mhm.
before, where we have that set TP1 and TP2 and really trying to push them and gain those extra pips, for example. And people don't realize that, hey, if you could if you could backtest last month, and I will do this every time I finish a month, I'll actually backtest the last month. I'll not even look at my journal, and I won't even look at it. I won't do anything. What I actually love to do is kind of forget the trades and then do it all fresh. And this is just me. Don't say everyone has to do this, because I would love to replay those trades in my head in a stress-free environment and go, could I have gotten more out of this? Could I have gotten more out of this?
Mm,
Are these the things that I should be doing? And this is going to be something that will work super well for you in the state that you are. You could go back to any point this year and literally hop on that back testing and start going, okay, I can see this buy has just been made. Everything looks good. Let's see how far I can push this. Let's see if I can start to outperform a strategy. And the only way you can do that and get super good at it to actually then put those practices in is, like you said, it's back testing. So it's
absolutely.
just super, super important. Cool. Well, only a few questions left then. So in terms of everything that you've learned, you can we'll put it to your top two. You can do three if you want. But do you have any advice, any practical information, anything that you would want to share with the listeners that you've gone, okay, on this journey, here are the things that I have found the most useful, or here are the things that I think you guys should do?
Hmm. Um, some wisdom, some golden nuggets of information. Honestly, it's just refining how you trade and understanding not only like obviously it starts with the charts, like understand how to read the chart. The chart's almost like a sheet of music.
Mm,
So all the notes create a symphony. You got to hear the music. So learning what you're seeing, the different types of candlesticks and different sort of formations on the chart itself will show you certain things, but then on top of that, like learn a strategy, um,
mm,
and apply that and trade with this set of rules. And it's funny because I learned this when I was first starting to trade, and I just never was able to refine my brain into trading a specific small set of
mm,
rules. It just always seemed like I was limiting myself, or like it wasn't really working. Like if it didn't work once, it just was never going to work. So I would just kind of scrap that whole idea and then do all of
mm,
this stuff.
yep.
And that was my biggest issue, was
Mm,
just toning out all of the noise, and then, you know, learning what was actually important. And I have a lot of stuff going on in my life. I run a
mm,
business, and um, just tons of projects on the go and traveling here and there. So when I sought out someone that could like just cut the noise for
mm,
me and show me how, even it's just the most base level, like what's more important and what's not as important. Seeking a mentor out is a huge thing. Um, I'm a tattoo artist, and when I first started to learn how to tattoo, I had an older guy show me the
mm,
ropes and show me how to conduct myself, and um, and then I picked up little pieces of information that were really useful after I had gotten that base floor, that foundation that you were talking about.
mm.
Um, that was the biggest things for me, definitely. Just learning a specific strategy, understanding what the charts actually are telling
Mm.
you, and finding someone that's willing to share some of their wisdom and give you some time, and like don't disappoint them because they're showing you valuable
Mm.
things.
Yeah, nice. Oh, thanks for that, dude. Yeah, I super appreciate that. I know, again, it's really good to get you guys on board and say that sort of stuff, because it's what I've said before previously. It's just like if you're going into anything, it doesn't have to be a trade. It doesn't have to be tattooing. It can be finance. You need someone there
Mm-hmm.
to help you. When I started out in sales, I had a really good bloke called Gareth, and he helped me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have been able to do all the things that I was able to do whilst I was out in that world if it wasn't for him. So, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Okay, cool. Well, very
Absolutely.
last question for you then, because this has just come up into my head here. You are obviously a successful business owner. You own your own shop and stuff like that, which is awesome. It's amazing.
Hmm.
And therefore, you are quite busy, and you've actually touched on, hey, I'm mid tattooing someone. If I hear this alert, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna check this out. I know there are other people out.
My favorite sound.
Yeah, the money sound, the money sound. You could be
Yeah.
making it from there, but I guess for other people that are super busy or have got businesses, is there anything that you do differently? Is there is it literally just being like, hey, you got to be dedicated. You've got to do X, Y, Z. Like how do you manage that?
um, hmm. I think it's just like you have to want it.
Mm,
You have to be motivated to succeed if you're trading. You know, you might be able to dabble here and there, but it's such a learning experience. And when you have the opportunity to, make an income that could potentially be life changing
mm,
if you just get good at these numbers and charts and stuff like that. Um, that's that's the greatest motivation of all. Like that could change your entire family's life. That could, drastically change your own life, but also the world around you.
mm.
And like I think it's motivation, it's perspective. Um, and it depends on what you want out of life. Like if you want to, struggle forever, then don't don't backtest
Yeah,
stuff. Like.
yeah.
But if you want to succeed and take that Rubik's cube and just like solve it in 30 seconds and then go chill out on your yacht and travel the Gold Coast, like shit, man, that's the life for me. I'll see you there.
100%. Absolutely. And I could not agree more. And that is why you are here now. And that's why some other people aren't. I mean, you only came to me, what, a couple of months ago. And yeah,
Yep.
as I said, really good price action analysis, but you could have been a beginner. It's the mindset, and I'm pointing to my laptop screen. No one can see this. It's the mindset of Lancelot here of just going, hey, I'm not making any excuses. I'm doing this stuff. Just if you actually go back and you listen to this episode, and even you, Lancelot, you listen to what you said, it's actually quite simple in what you actually need to do in order to do this sort of stuff. And even with you, going from a couple of months ago to being like, hey, I'm not doing anything to making 20% on your account the other week or whatever it was.
That was in a
Yeah,
week too. That was in
which
one
is
week.
absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. And that's all just taking the trades, following it, and just going, hey, I'm not making excuses. I'm sure that there's some people in meetings and they can't just go, hey, halfway through a meeting, go, hey, that sound, I've got to go and now run away. But it is just that, and you simplified it, and you've made brought out the essence of what you just need to do in order to get here. And as you said, at the other side of it is whatever you want. If it is in a yacht like
Yeah.
sailing, if it is for you going, I'm gonna quit my job or I'm gonna buy another tattoo studio, whatever it is, it's, hey, make these hard decisions now and do this back testing and do that. So when it comes up to it, you don't have to spend as much time on the charts. You don't have to do this. Obviously, you got the indicator as well, which helps you out with the alerts. But even so, it
Absolutely.
doesn't matter if you went away now and changed my strategy, which people definitely do, and you just backtest the crap out of it because you see something that could, potentially improve it. As long as
Hmm.
you've done that back testing and you know exactly what you're looking for, like now, you go in and you go, hey, that's consolidation. I'm not even touching it. Like you said, it's false alarm. Boom, you're back on your job. And you can do that and you can step away for literally 2 seconds, make the judgment call, and then go straight back to work because you've put in all that effort, because you're dedicated, yeah?
Absolutely, and it becomes part of your everyday just kind of operation. Like I think that's when you really become a trader, and you're not just trading.
Mm. Yeah, cool.
You
That's
know what I mean?
awesome. That's awesome. Okay, well, final parting thoughts there. Guess I'm just trying to do this with the guys. What are your plans moving forward in the future with Forex? Do it more? Do it less? Take some time off work? What are you looking forward to in your vision here?
I just want to keep. Uh, I just want to keep getting better. Like,
Awesome.
for me, this has been such a struggle. It's been such a journey.
Mm.
Um, I'm a gamer, so when I play a game, I like to be good
Mm-hmm.
at it, and I like to play really hard
Yeah.
games. And this game is so hard
Yeah.
that it's just like I love it. And if you get good at this game, your life changes. So that makes it the only game I want to play now.
Yeah.
Um, so continuing to trade, continuing to backtest, continue learning, getting stronger, getting smarter. And then, I'm not where I want to be yet. I still have to, you know, 100x my account a few
Mm-hmm.
times.
Yeah. I
But
hear you.
I feel like I have the tools to do that now, thanks to you.
100%.
And, I'm just looking forward to the future.
Well, thank you for that. I actually think that this has been a super awesome lesson, not just because you've just said a lot of stuff that really resonates with me, but I think a lot of people out there as well. So I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, man.
That's no problem. Alex is a great mentor. Like, listen to him, listen to the things that he says. They work. I'm living proof of that.
Cheers. Well, I do appreciate that. Awesome. So that was our interview with Lancelot, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Probably one of my more successful students. Like making 20% a week is absolutely crazy for anyone, but very, very cool and bright future ahead of this guy. I'd say he's a business owner, as you know, and he's also putting in so much effort to trading. I mean, you can only go up from there, right? If you've got any questions, you can always join our free Discord. Please leave a like and a review on Spotify, Apple Music. That would be great for us. But until the next episode, guys, I hope you've had a prosperous trading journey, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.